and then it happened. I mean, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one thing, but I never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. Woo-hoo. The first time he said he wanted to experiment, try something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was 20 at the time. I said, what the hell? I hated it. He bled from it, and there was shit on it. I left him alone after that. Oh my God. I might need a minute, huh? So what are your thoughts on this?
Yo, what's up? Welcome back. This your boy Giovanni McFly.
Showtime.
And this is
the Fly Show.
Hey man, it's another rough week, brother.
Man, what you said.
You know, it's a bit of a somber moment, man. You know what I'm saying? A little bit melancholy coming into this one because, like, I don't know how many people are aware of it, man. I know we talked about it briefly, but I just want to touch on the situation with that brother Khalifa, man, Marcellus Williams. For those of you that don't know, that brother was executed in the state of Missouri, convicted of a late 90s murder of a young lady, Felicia Gale, who was actually a reporter, stabbed to death in her home, man. And in 2001, brother Khalifa was convicted of that crime, even though there was a lack of evidence, you know. And moving forward to 2024, the family, the prosecutors, the jurors, there was a lot of people pulling for that brother, man. They didn't want to see this execution go through.
The whole thing was so unnecessary, man. Like, the thing for me is when, just like you said, the prosecutors, like everybody was like, no, let's do a retrial, let's reinvestigate, and they didn't. And that's the thing, they didn't have substantial evidence. The DNA was contaminated,
right? And
the only circumstantial evidence they had was the laptop that was sold from Williams to whoever. But what they failed to bring up in the case in court with the jury didn't hear was it was provided by an incentive, you know what I'm saying? Incentive witness.
Yeah, so
not
like
a witness, informant.
Yeah, so you had an informant that had incentive to go through and push charges or push blame towards somebody else to kind of get a reduced sentence. And
the whole prosecution laid on the two witnesses. That's the only thing that they really had, and they only came forward after the $10,000 reward.
Right.
One of them was an inmate who said he confessed, and the other one was his ex-girl, and that's who got the laptop.
Right, and of course there's a reason for her to come out and say, oh, he did it. When you start dealing with exes, we all been there, you know how they go, it can be a dirty game, man. So even with that, he was the predecessors of the current governor of Missouri actually went through and said they stayed the execution and exonerated it because of the DNA evidence. His immediate predecessor also decided 7 years ago not to execute this young man. And for whatever reason, this governor decided, you know what, we're gonna kill him anyway. And it's murder, essentially, is what it is. You know, when you got evidence, you got the family, you got a lot of things going in his favor, and for the governor to say, you know what, go ahead and execute him anyway. You know, so it's tragic, man. It's sad that brother lost his life, you know, around 6 p.m. Central Time that night, due to as a result of lethal injection, man. But that's a rough situation, man. It's sad that in this day and time we still dealing with that. It's not the first time it's happened.
Man, we got to do better, man. As a people, everybody. You
Yeah.
just got to do better, man. It's unacceptable.
And especially if it's any question about whether somebody's guilty or not, killing them's not the answer. 'Cause you can't
Exactly.
reverse that. You know what I mean? You
You
can
gotta
leave
find-
them in jail for however many years to get the right result, and then try to fix that later on. You really can't give people their time back, but you definitely can't give them their life back if somebody gets executed in this way.
I agree. Well, man, what about this? You been keeping up with the strike?
Yeah, man. It's important. It's very important.
It is, and I think like this Diddy trial be overshadowing a lot of stuff, and they're throwing a lot of distractions at us, so we missing a lot of things, man. And I'm telling you, I know a lot of people probably don't know, but the East Coast ports are going on strike. Now, a lot of people don't understand what this means. Basically, let me see what the numbers are. Two East Coast ports alone handle $240 billion a year worth of goods.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the West Coast, the people get paid $116,000 a year. People on the East Coast only get paid 81.
Yeah.
So that's a 43% difference. But they're not asking for a 33% increase. They're asking for a 77% increase.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's not really what should I be getting paid fairly. It's what I'm doing worth. So if I have the ability in my job to shut down the economy, because if we're not working, nothing's coming in here. It's not really. It's really one of those things. Well, what is me being at work worth to the rest of the country? You know what I mean? And that's kind of where they're at. And I don't. I want to see everybody get their money. I want to see everybody be successful.
They need to pay these people properly.
Yeah, no doubt. And I you know what I'm saying? I'm one of those that I don't like to shop, bro. I don't like it throws people off when I say that. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to have things, but I don't like to shop. I don't like to be in stores and shop. So I buy a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like online, and I get a lot of stuff shipped into the country from overseas and different things. So it's like, hey man, I need y'all to work.
We gotta get this sorted out real quick.
I need y'all clocking in, big dog. Whatever we can do to support it, man. The Fly Show is with y'all, man. We need to get y'all paid, bro. Like for real.
And just to put this in perspective, y'all, just the Jersey port alone, just the Jersey port is I want to say it's like 600 and something million a year.
Yeah.
Just the Jersey port. The Virginia port is 600 million a year. That's just that one state.
Yeah.
So just imagine if all of them on the East Coast go on strike.
Yeah.
And
Baltimore.
how much a day?
Miami. Like it's a lot of different port cities. You know what I'm saying? Charleston. It's a lot of port cities out there that it's not just. I mean, I know it's right now the conversation is the East Coast, but it's gonna flip and it'll be what I'm saying the southern ports, the west ports. We just got to make sure that, and everybody deserves a fair wage for what they do. You know what I'm saying? I'm a firm believer in it. You show up and go to work every day. Everybody deserves a fair wage for what they doing, man. So hopefully everything works out. The strike doesn't last too long, and those people get paid, and we can, get the economy back where it needs to be, get everything rolling.
It'll have a major effect on the economy.
Yes, sir.
On the economy, like inflation, just you
across
name
the
it.
board, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Supply and
cool to
demand. So if it's not there, prices go up. So we need to make sure that everything's moving, in a steady fashion, and that these people get paid. Like I said, at the end of the day, we want to see everybody get their piece of what we call the American dream. So
I would like to at least see them get as much money as the West Coast. Everything should be fair across the board.
you gotta look at cost of living and stuff of that nature too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get out west, a lot of things are more expensive, especially in like the California area. So I can understand why the pay isn't exactly the same, but it has to be a competitive wage for the area that you live in.
I agree. Because Miami, New York, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's just as expensive as LA.
Nah, it ain't.
It's more?
Yeah, LA go crazy, man. I remember I went to
You
LA.
got Beverly Hills and all that.
Yeah, I went to LA a few years ago, man. Gas was like $8 a gallon, bro. This is after COVID. You feel like gas like $8, man. It was wild, bro. So you know what I'm saying? Like I stayed in the Airbnb out there, bro. It was 800 right across the street. It was a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. like 1,200 square foot house, bro, $877,000. You know,
Man, you could get a mini mansion around here for
this
that.
much land. Like the yard was this big, bro. Like it's different out there. But I just feel like
I've been looking. I seen Poison Ivy come out with a, you know, I don't want to call it a rant. She was expressing her feelings about her father, and you know, did you see that?
yeah, man. So yeah, like this isn't the first time it's been a situation. So like Boosie and Aviana been kind of going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Poison Ivy, that's the stage name, man. Go check out. By the way, just go look at her YouTube, man, and share the music and you know what I'm saying, like support that young lady. But he had the same situation with his other daughter, Tori, the younger daughter, where they had been going back and forth a little bit too. But it was far more aggressive with Tori than it has been with Ivy. And I mean, we talked about it briefly on the other, you know what I'm saying, episodes, but like, it seems like the whole thing stemmed from her decision and her, you know what I'm saying, her sexuality. So, she decided, and she came out, said she's openly gay, you know what I'm saying, she's dating a young lady, and Boosie as her father don't really agree with it. You know what I mean? So like, how you feel about this situation, bro?
Well, basically, I heard what she had to say, and my heart goes out to her. You know, I don't really want to touch on them. I just wanted to bring it up. As a father, I've had to deal with the same situation, so I wanted to pull it out as a lesson and like how I feel about a situation like that, because that's his personal, you know, that's his dad, that's his daughter, and it ain't none of our business. But I did want to use it as an opportunity to discuss my points of view on it. You know, I feel like you kind of got to change with the times. You don't have to condone. Me personally, I'm not going to condone in something I don't stand up or believe in, but I feel like you should always hear your kids out, and it sounds like she's hurting.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not even, you know, she's not backlashing at him. She didn't bash him and say blah blah blah.
Say nothing bad about him.
She expressed her feelings and said what he said and how it affected her.
Right.
And you know, I feel like Boosie loves her, and he, you know, I think it's just gonna take him longer to adapt to the situation, and he doesn't know how to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he came back on social media and responded to her. And I think he responded the way he should have. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he a man. He has, you know, his beliefs, and like, I firmly support whatever anybody believe in. Like whatever your beliefs are, those are your beliefs. You know what I mean? But he came back and told her, you know, I love you. You'll always be my baby girl. You know what I'm saying? He responded to it in a way that I feel like, after the way she expressed herself, the emotion she came out with, and did it in a respectful manner. She never disrespected
Very
him in
mature.
any kind of way.
Super
I feel
mature.
like that's the only response you can come back with as a father. So to your point, bro, like, we ain't trying to, you know, push nothing on anybody or, you know, dictate anybody's situation, just to bring it closer to home and understand it. I also had to be in a similar situation, you know what I'm saying? So my daughter come out, she openly, like, she bisexual. You know what I'm saying? That's my daughter. Like, nothing changes that. You know what I mean? And if she was sitting here right now, she'd tell you, like, don't nothing change with us. Like, she called me about any situation. She get on my damn nerves with all these video calls sometimes. Like, she won't even text me or nothing. She just straight video call. I might be in a meeting at work. I might be doing anything. She just video call. I'm like, man, why do you not just text me and say, are you busy or something? But anyway, she'll do it like 5-6 times a day, bro. Like, it's crazy. But we got that understanding that, like, she talk to me about anything. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm not here to do any of that. Like, at the end of the day, that's my daughter. Like, nothing changes that. You know what I mean? Like, whatever she decides she want to do with her life, and I'm of the belief that, like, bro, whatever you decide you want to do, or anybody decide they want to do with their life, as long as you're willing to deal with the consequences, and you're okay with the consequences of the decisions that you make, man, go do whatever you want to do. Live how you want to live. You know what I'm saying? That's how I talk to my kids, how I teach them. Like, I'm not against anything you want to do. Like, just understand that if it means you potentially going to jail, if it means you losing family or friends behind something, if you're okay with it, go do what you want to do, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's your life, so live it however you want to live it. You only get one shot at this.
I think it was a good, obviously it wasn't a good thing to happen, but it was a good thing for a lot of people to see, especially from our generation,
Yeah.
and to see the effect that it has on a child. So a lot of times, the child's not gonna come forth with people like us because they're scared of, we're gonna condemn them or we're gonna judge them or, and if we see somebody like Boosie handle this thing in a certain way, I think it'll change perspective for other people.
And I think it's important to state too though, like Boo didn't change his stance. It ain't like he said, you know what, I'm okay with it. He still ain't okay with it.
You shouldn't have to.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, so he said things about other people's kids, you know what I'm saying? Will Smith, Dwayne Wade, and them kids. He said things about other folks' kids being gay or whatever. He feel how he feel, that's his stance. And he stood on that when he said what he said about his daughter. She wasn't welcome at the house. The contamination thing was crazy, to be like, he don't want her around the house contaminating other kids. That's insane to say something like that. But that's his stance. So it just bring it closer to home, and now you got to look at it and say, all these things I said about other people and their children, now it's in my house. You know what I'm saying? So it hit a little different when it get close to home, man. But he wrote the song Ungrateful, you know what I'm saying? He talked about the situation. Actually, in that song, he was talking about his other daughter, Tori, and the situation, you know what I'm saying? She called him a bitch ass nigga and shit. Like, she on a different level of disrespect when you talking to your pops like that. But, and his baby mama, he was talking about different things like that in the song. But I just feel like it's a step in the right direction with what the last comments and everything that was on. It started on social media. He posted it for everybody to see. He didn't pull it to the side and have a private conversation.
That's what I didn't agree with.
So I'm okay with the fact that it started there. He put it out there for everybody to see it. Let's move on and enjoy the family. Yeah,
and y'all just remember, like, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all don't make the right decision as parents, or we don't always handle things the right way. So don't condemn any man for anything, especially when he's working on it.
Yeah.
Because you look in the mirror, you done made some bad choices. You didn't handle some things the wrong way. I know I didn't.
And just because somebody didn't see it don't mean it didn't happen.
Exactly. So
it's one of those don't throw stones in glass houses type thing. You can always circle back and hit right where you stay in.
Yep. So Diddy has 120 potential more victims coming forth.
Take that.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
This man,
and shout out to the victims. I know we laugh, but it's really on Diddy and him, not the victims, and the trauma is not funny.
That's real.
But shout out to them, and we send love and healing energy to them and their families in this time of need. But they said that it's basically mostly in Cali, Florida, New York, and Georgia, and like 60% was black. I think 30-something percent was white, and the rest were Hispanic and Asian.
Yeah. And and the crazy thing about the Hispanic and Asian piece was a lot of it was like service workers and stuff, man. Like people that was cleaning and shelves and different things. It's just, man, it's really, over the time, you just look at this situation and what it's going to end up, like mushrooming and ballooning out to. Man, it's a tragic situation, man. Like, it's sickening to know all, like, the things that are coming out, bro.
And bruh, the youngest alleged victim right now is 9 years old.
9 years old, man. Like, that's
9 years old.
That shit really unspeakable.
Not even starting to develop in the mind or in the body.
And now having to develop with this.
Yeah.
Thinking that this is what's normal. This is what older people do. Like, this is the expectation of our adolescence, man. That's insane, bro. And then the names that you hearing as far as who all is tied to the situation and what's to come from it and things like that, bro. And then, you start looking back, what I'm saying? It might be before some of y'all time, man, but Diddy did the joints back in the day with like, what was that, G-Dep? He had a track with, a couple other songs. You listen to what he's saying, like talking about the feds and coming to get them and, all of that. The irony in all of that is 50 the one wrote all them songs. So if you know the 50 and Puff situation, it's like you go back to some of them earlier songs and some of the stuff that's being said, and then you fast forward to today, and you watch the video, in the video when he's performing that song and talking about if the feds gonna have to come get him and how he gonna take people with him when, you know what I'm saying, he ain't going out by himself. But 50 wrote the song, and then he had a Charles Woodson jersey on with the number 24 on it. And here we are in 2024, and all of this shit coming out.
Wow, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, you go back and look at the video, bro. He wearing a number 24 jersey. And this shit
diabolical. Diabolical,
that's,
to say the least.
Man, Curtis is terrible, man. Dude is something else, man. That's a rough situation, though, bro, for real, man. But yeah, like, to piggyback off what bro said, man, like, wholeheartedly, man, like, our heart go out to the victims, man. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the situation and make light of the Diddy situation itself, like, with Diddy and joke around. That's just that's our demeanor. You know what I'm saying? We done been through so much in life that you can't take any of this stuff too serious when it comes to your life, man. You got to be able to laugh even in hard times, but, you know, it's, for the victims and their families and everybody impacted by the situation, our heart go out to everybody though, for real.
Agreed. So Jaguar Wright makes headlines again. She's on the Piers Morgan show, got the most views he's ever had.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Did you get a chance to?
I had looked at the whole thing, man, but it's Jag on fire right now, man.
Jag came up first.
Yeah.
And this is what I don't understand. They had Vlad come second.
Yeah.
Why is Vlad even in the conversation, bro?
Because it's Vlad. Vlad the feds, man.
And then a woman by the name of Ariel Mitchell Kid, and I just watched it before we started filming, so I'm not educated on who she is and where her stance is, but I like what she said. So Jag came on there, guns blazing as usual, saying what she's been saying, and Piers Morgan was like, well, Jay-Z and Beyonce aren't here to defend themselves, so like he kept trying to steer away from that.
Yeah, because he's
scared.
Because the network and the powers that be don't want that seed.
Right.
They don't want to be tied to this.
Shouldn't have brought Jag on there.
Yeah, but I mean they want
the ratings.
They want so much of it, but they want to be able to still, you know what I'm saying, create the narrative and dictate what's said and what's not said. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like, man, Jag been saying this for a long time, and been right on point with a lot of it. So shout out to her. Shout out to Cat Williams. Cat been saying what he been saying and standing
all
on
the whistleblowers.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like now people don't look so crazy all of a sudden, man. You know, Cat don't look so crazy now. You know, they try to have, and I mean. And that wasn't even something we was gonna be on, but I just want to speak briefly on that topic, man. Like, them people painted the picture of Cat like Cat was just crazy and on drugs you know, all these different things, man. Like, but why? All he done was spoke his truth. Like, why I gotta be on drugs to speak my truth?
Yeah, they trying to ruin his credibility.
Yeah, so just because it's not a popular opinion, it's not what you want to hear in the moment, doesn't mean I'm lying or making up stuff. Like, you know, and man, we got the world in the palm of our hands nowadays, man. If somebody say something and you don't agree with it or feel a certain way, go research, go do your own research and figure out what's going on.
Truth always gonna win.
Yeah.
Every time.
And we appreciate y'all tuning in and listening to us talk, but go do your own research and figure out what's going on. Like, we got our opinions in certain situations, but reach out there, get the information you want. Or if it's something we've already got feedback from folks that like, man, I didn't know that. I never even heard of this situation and different things like that, but that's our side of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and bruh speak from two different sides of things sometimes, but we come to a common ground. But go out there and get your own research and figure out what's going on, man. But it's a whole lot out there that, you know what I'm saying, we need to educate ourselves on and take responsibility for doing so, and then passing it on to the next generation as well.
Yep. And then Vlad came on there, slick, trying to be on the fence, but like slick. Wasn't necessarily defending Diddy, but he was at the same time. And, you know, they were asking questions like, well, do you think a lot of other names are going to come by? Of course, that's his pockets. So he's like, no, I don't see that happening, you know. And a whole bunch of, you know, there was stuff that he couldn't get by because, of course, they got the video of Diddy beating Cassie. And so he had to kind of navigate through that. And it's just like, man, the dude is a clown. And so what I loved, Ariel Mitchell Kid came on there after and was like he a culture vulture. He been talking about hip hop and black culture and making money off of them and having these fed comments, and then she said a lot of insightful things after that, and I was like, I'm glad somebody said something.
Yeah, because it's been said that like Vlad, if you look at some of the interviews, man, like him and Boosie got their understanding of whatever they got going on is what they got going on, and that's cool. But at the same time, you got situations where like Pee Wee Longway was on the Vlad show, and he asking questions about certain like police. It's almost like an interrogation,
right? And
you can tell Pee Wee uncomfortable because he like dodging the questions and shit, but he keep asking questions. He done that with Dolph. It's several people that they go on there and dudes start asking questions about criminal cases or different situations. Man, that's not straight, bro. Like that's not how you should already have an understanding. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna get to a point where we start inviting people into what we do, our world, and sit in here and do this. It's gonna be certain things that before we even turn the cameras and the lights on,
it's gonna be discussed.
Do you want to talk about this or not? Like we never gonna put somebody in a situation where they uncomfortable and it's clear on camera that you uncomfortable. That's not what we about. Yeah. Man, Vlad do this stuff for clicks, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
we want to showcase the talent and their accolades and stuff like that. And there might be some controversy. We might ask it, but it's not going to be the centerpiece. Like we're gonna bring them on.
It's not going to be to catch you off guard. We're not going to catch you off guard asking. Right. We're going to say, hey, are you okay with talking about this before we get into it? You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't agree with the approach and how you go about doing things, man. But you know what I'm saying? Like again, with the whole Diddy situation and, you know, Jay name getting brought into it. Another thing, bro, I know sometimes I be hitting you with shit that you may or may not have heard, but we all remember the Making the Band joint and all of that, right? Mm-hmm. Freddie P from, you know what I'm saying, Making the Band came out and was like, you know, the cheesecake thing. Everybody remember the cheesecake, right?
I seen that.
Man, come to find out the cheesecake was for Beyonce.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Diddy had them walk and go get that cheesecake when he came back. He's like, I don't want that shit. Take it upstairs for Beyonce. This is like so much shit coming out now, bro. It's just wild, man. But yeah, I spoke briefly, you know what I'm saying, and talking about, you know, Vlad and the situation there, man. I brought up Dolph, man. So another great one, man. Another, you know what I'm saying, long live Dolph, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Flipper, man. But that situation is on fire right now too, man. In Memphis, like the trial started, a bunch of information starting to come out. Them boys is singing, man. Hey, I'm talking about day one of the trial. Them boys is, boy, hey, man, y'all listen. Y'all better stop doing crime out here. It's a dangerous game, man. Hey, but you know, saying in all seriousness though, man, them boys came out and essentially said that they were offered $100,000 to kill Dolph, and only $800 of that was actually paid. So
800.
Yeah. So
see, that's, and I don't condone violence or putting a hit out on anybody, but if you're gonna do it, pay them because.
So essentially, from all the reports, allegedly, Big Jook, which is Gotti big brother, put the $100,000 hit out on Dolph.
Right.
Hernandez Govan was actually, from the way the story is coming out, he was actually paid the $100,000. He orchestrated the hit, was paid the $100,000 from Jook.
He paid them $800.
But he didn't pay them what he was supposed to pay them. They were never supposed to get 100. I think it was 40, a 20-20 split, and then 60 to him. But all he paid was $800, and they took off and did this shit. And
you think they're not gonna sing?
Well, I think one of the part of it was one of the young men that's, you know what I'm saying, allegedly one of the shooters. His biggest thing wasn't really the money; it was getting a deal with CMG. So Straight Drop was just trying to get a contract with CMG. That was the big thing, to be the next CMG artist. Then the other young man, they said he probably got a habit, so he was just trying to get high. You know what I'm saying? But man, that's rough. Like when you really look at it, man, and come to the understanding that we lost not only a great artist, because I've been listening to Dolph for a long time, man. Like not only that though, but that brother done a lot of good stuff in Memphis. He done a lot of good stuff in the neighborhood to bring back to the community, man. So to know that at the end of the day, even if it's $100,000, man, a life worth way more than $100,000, man.
Yeah.
So
you can't put a number on that.
Yeah, so to see the impact that that's gonna have in the community far outweighs $100,000, man. So that's crazy to see that brother lost his life over something so simple.
And see, that's a lesson for you youngsters. You know, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And I know that's an old saying, but it's true. If you got blood in the streets, your blood will spill.
Yes, sir.
So you keep that in mind before you pull the trigger.
And you look at the situation now, man, it's well over 30, 40 people have died since Young Dolph's murder. You know what I'm saying? Out in Memphis and other parts of the country that was tied to this situation.
And think about over what? Was it that worth all this bloodshed?
Because chances are, if you really, and this all came down, it started over Gotti wanted to sign Dolph and Dolph not wanting to sign because how Gotti was talking about his other roster members behind their back. And Dolph just like, I don't want to be a part of that.
I mean, he stood on his morals and principles.
And that's how it should be. I mean, even I don't know if you knew this or not, bro, but like Hernandez Govan, his daughter was a rapper. She got killed. She got killed in Houston.
Over this?
It was after Dolph. They said it was tied to the situation. So she got killed down in Houston, man. She was a up and coming rap artist and ended up getting murdered down there.
So, yeah, and people don't think about that when they're out here doing this wild stuff. They don't care about the consequences to themselves, but they don't think about the impact it's gonna have on their family. Sometimes your family could be touched.
Yup. That's the same situation now. They saying Gotti's sister and them been hiding because they ain't done. They still looking for folks. You know what I'm saying?
They should, but they shouldn't have to live like that.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like I said, shout out to Dolph, man. Shout out to his family, everybody involved. Tragic situation,
and big
man. I hate seeing these brothers go. Yeah, Juke.
All the families who took a loss.
Everybody that had this impacted everybody in the, you know, we in the Tennessee area, man. So everybody out in West Tennessee that this had an impact. Everybody over the world. Like these two are the biggest rap artists in the world. This had an impact on a lot of people, man. Yeah. Still having an impact on a lot of people. And then to, just like with the Diddy situation, like to have to go to these court hearings and listen to everything else play out and how it happened and watch these videos again and see, you know, Dolph's brother was with him when it happened, so he's shooting back at these cats and he got to go through that and live through that moment again, bro. Like, it's a lot, man. So, shout out to all of them, bro, and, you know, blessings to everybody involved in that situation.
Speaking of the Diddy thing, I made a special order, bro, on Amazon. I went and got Kim Porter's book.
He did too, for a bunch of baby oil, but go ahead.
Yes. Kim's Lost Words.
It's here.
Bro, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, I got to get that. I think I pre-ordered it. So for y'all that don't know, Kim Porter is Sean Diddy Combs' first baby mother.
Yeah, they had 3 kids together. Then he adopted another child, so they had 4 kids together total, I believe. So
she was there at the beginning and went through a lot of trauma, seen a lot of things.
And not only that, so just even more background on it, Uptown Records was founded by Diddy. Who else was over there? Harrell, Heavy D, and Al B. Shore. But
I'm not sure if Diddy founded it though.
I think he was part of it.
I think he was an intern at first.
At Uptown?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe so. I thought it was those. No, I think he was an intern somewhere else.
Okay.
But y'all
we'll get back to y'all on that one.
Y'all can fact check that.
Yeah.
And either way it go, in the very beginning of Uptown, it was Diddy, Andre Harrell, Heavy D, Al B. Shore. Unfortunately, Andre Harrell, Heavy D have since passed. Suspiciously.
Al B. almost.
Al B. Shore was actually in a coma. He also has a book on the way. Those other 2 gentlemen had a book that they were working on at the time of their passing. This young lady also did, but she was one of the longest tenured employees at Uptown when those 4 gentlemen were there as well.
So I don't think this is the actual book she was working on. I think this is her memoir, like her diary and different things that they pulled from. So hopefully they find
everything.
All the thing. The rumor I heard, and this is just what I've heard, so don't take it as fact, that she had the book in 5 different pieces and sent it to 5 different people.
So we want the whole book.
We want all
everything. We want it all.
So we're gonna read the first couple chapters, and then y'all gonna have to watch the next episode to get the rest. But bro, I done been dipping in this thing.
Yeah. Woohoo. Yeah.
Alright, Chapter 1, Introduction. Soon after high school, I started landing modeling jobs. I couldn't believe it. It was happening so fast. I met my husband, the father of my oldest child, and one of my oldest friends in life. I'll be sure. It was a whirlwind romance. I was only 19 when we married, and no, it didn't work out. Al is still one of my best friends to this day. Our son Quincy is such a talented and wonderful young man. At the time, I had no idea my relationship with Al was going to introduce me to the man that I would spend the better part of my adult life with, the man that I would love and cherish, but eventually fear and hate. I don't want to put the cart,
Hate is a strong word.
Man, strong, but accurate.
And I felt it when you said it. I felt like her saying like, I hate him.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I will say, although I knew what was going on, I turned a blind eye many times. Here I have to tell the truth, unfortunately, because deep down I know everything was happening, but I lied to myself a lot. He was so charming, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a devil, and I fell for it. The story must be told despite the fact that it will hurt my children. I cannot hide it any longer. Sean Combs must be stopped. That's a powerful introduction, man.
Man, listen. If there's anybody out there that I've ever done anything to that feel like you need to write something like that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. This is crazy. Like, man. And that to be somebody that you spent a couple decades around, had children with, man, that's tough, bro.
Yep. Chapter 2, Humble Beginnings. I was born to loving parents, Jake Porter, Sarah L. Porter, in the Peach State of Georgia. Although Columbus High School, where I graduated in 1988, I knew I was going to be famous. In the 10th grade, one of my best friends, Tina, said to me, "You won't make it here in Georgia." I knew if I really wanted to be famous, I would have to leave my hometown and my home, Georgia. That conversation was so important. As I look back now, it changed my life. I met Al when I was working in the industry. He was so dope and charming, and I had such a crush on him. We married before I knew it, and Quincy was on the way. But I was young, and I felt like it wasn't going to last. It was a little heated between us after we separated, and we got past that quickly. He is such a super dope guy and an amazing father. Though we separated, we are bonded forever through Quincy. Thank you, Al. I will always love you. When I met Sean, he was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge, and we were all living our best life. But Sean continued to lay on the charm. Before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom, one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. And then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. He and Clive would hang out a lot, but I didn't think much of it. I mean, that was his boss, and he was doing things bigger than most men dare to dream. And then it happened. I mean, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one thing, but I never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. Woo-hoo. The first time he said he wanted to experiment, try something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was 20 at the time. I said, what the hell? I hated it. He bled from it, and there was shit on it. I left him alone after that. Oh my God. I might need a minute. So what are your thoughts on this?
This segment of the Fly Show was brought to you by Uncle Nearest Whiskey, man. You know,
Bruh.
Whoa. What?
That's the second chapter. Imagine what the rest of this book is gonna be like.
I had to get a drink behind it, bro.
Whew.
Wow.
Okay, we're gonna read one more chapter, and then We'll get our thoughts and then we'll be out of here. I'm scared to read this chapter, bro. I didn't expect that quick.
I don't know if I have thoughts.
Man, we might just have to ask what they think and let them
I feel like all of my thoughts just left me in that moment. Go ahead, bro.
Alright. Chapter 3, Second Chances. Sean kept reaching out and I kept ignoring his calls. Eventually, in a few weeks, we ran into each other at an event. He came over and sat next to me. We were very cordial. He flattered me by saying, "You look so amazing." I replied with a simple, "Thanks, Sean." I tried to get up and leave, but he pulled my arm, and as I turned to him, he looked deep into my eyes and said, "Look, what happened between us was weird, but I really care about you. Can we?" He paused, and I tried to use this as my attempt to escape, but he pulled my hand back and said, I said, "Sorry, Sean, I have to go. Please think I'm falling." He said, "Please, I think I'm falling in love with you. Can we talk?" My breath was taken away. Did he just say he loved me? It was so fast. I wasn't aware of this manipulation tactic, not yet. God, I was so young and naive. He continued, "Let's just have dinner." And I fell for it. 2 days later, we went out for drinks at a lounge in Lower Manhattan. The place was nice. Sean was really coming up and pulling out all the stops to impress me. He pulled the chair out for me to sit. Back then, he was always a gentleman. He smiled and said, "Look," as he sat across from me. I hated it. I never wanted to do it again, but please give me another chance. Over coffee the next morning, I decided to give him another chance. For the next year and a half, things seemed pretty normal. It was fun. Things were going great, and we were living the dream that I dreamt throughout my youth. Sean and Clive were working on Bad Boy and had his first couple artists. He picked up Craig Mack, then some rapper from the West Coast called Notorious B1 to help Chris develop. He was collaborating with the biggest names in hip hop to make it happen. Things could not be more amazing. Then he asked me to do it again. It was insane. Sean, he said, "Baby, I can't stop thinking about it." She said, "What the hell were you talking about?" I responded. Sean continued, "I just can't stop thinking about that night."
Won't stop.
Huh?
Can't stop, won't stop. Bad Boy.
It was amazing. "Can you screw me one more time, please?" I became infuriated. "Why don't you go to Clive? He's the one screwing you, isn't he?" Then Sean hit me. This was the first time he slapped me hard. Before I could form words, he began to beg, "I'm sorry," holding my cheek where he hit me. I turned and ran off. That should have been it. But I guess I am a glutton for punishment. He sent flowers and a bunch of expensive gifts. Then we bumped into each other at an industry event. He sat down next to me. This was deja vu. Sean started, "Imagine running into you here." "Get the fuck away from me," I forced out. He became more serious and he said, "Look, baby, I'm sorry." But I just glared at him. "There is nothing you can ever say to me, nothing." After an awkward silence, he finished, "You know I love you. I love your son. He's my son. I don't know how to fix this, but I would do anything. I'm sorry. Shit, he can be so sweet." Here we go with the love thing. It's time. This time it's not falling in. He was great with Quincy, and to be honest, despite everything, I missed him. He stood to walk away. I remember hearing myself saying, "Call me later." What the fuck is wrong with me?
Man, that's a lot.
You want to hit another chapter?
Nah. I don't. This shit.
Wait a minute. No. This one's only a page. We're going to end it with this one.
Take off.
Chapter 4, Forgiveness. Sean arrived with flowers in hand. He wanted to see Quincy. He was good with him, and Quincy ran over to hug him. I felt my heart melting. He asked Quincy, "How are you doing, Tiger?" Quincy looked so innocent as he responded, "I'm good. I miss you." Sean's response sounded genuine. "I miss you too. We'll hang out tomorrow, okay?" Sean gave him a little love tap on the butt. "It's bedtime," Quincy replied. "Okay, good night." As he returned to head toward his bedroom, here was the man I fell in love with. But what was I thinking? Shit, not only does he want butt plugs? He slapped the shit out of me. So why am I talking to him? They say love is blind, but is it stupid too? As Quincy left, Sean looked at me and smiled. Baby, let's go have some fun. The babysitter's on the way. I just want to show you a good time. I was so mad at myself for melting, and I said, okay. We sat on the couch laughing and genuinely having a good time when the doorbell rang. The babysitter had arrived, so we left. As we exited the house, a big man climbed out of the limo and opened the door for us. He wore a sharp suit with a gun noticeably tucked under his arm. I thought to myself, he could have made it invisible, or did he want me to see it? Despite my reservations, Uncle Gene was a sweetheart. He was very courteous and polite, and he tipped his head and said, "Good evening, ma'am." Gene drew a smile out of me and responded, "Hello." Gene and I would see a lot after this day. See a lot of each other after this day. Man. I thought this was this chapter. That's what I want to end it on, this one. Maybe one more. I promise this is the last one. The year passed, and thankfully, we didn't have many bad arguments, although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo. He would put curses on people, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that craziness. My problem as a single mother was I wanted to be married. He always had excuses and delays when it came to committing to marriage. His label was blowing up. Biggie dropped, and it was just about over. He also signed Mary J. Blige, of course. When I found out he slept with her, we fought, and he claimed it was a mistake, and my stupid ass took him back. Sean asked me for a threesome with her. First I was mad, but Mary was beautiful, and it was our first threesome, and I loved it. Mary was sexy. Woohoo. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was so hot. I was young and exploring my sexuality, and it was enticing. Over the years, we brought other women into our bedroom periodically, and we were happy. That is until one day I came home to a situation and went from awkward to a nightmare. Quincy was with the babysitter, and Sean was sitting with Al B. Shore at the dinner table. I had a child with Al, and Sean was the father in Quincy's life. The awkwardness of us being together had dissolved a long time ago, but it was still weird that they were here in my home together alone. I sat down, we had drinks, it was fun. The conversation was cool until it wasn't. Al was a little loose after a couple drinks. I remember him saying, "It was still weird seeing you with my friend, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys." Sean responded, "Thanks, man. Me and you have shared so much." Al replied coolly, "Word." The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, "We've all been together sexually, but not together." I was shocked for the moment, and quietness lingered in the room. I asked, "What do you mean all together?" Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. "You know, we sometimes invite other people into our bed." I couldn't believe it. "Oh, hell no, Sean. This is my son's father." Al, say something. What Al said was mind-boggling. "I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way." Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I didn't want it messing up my relationship, and things could become awkward. How would it affect Quincy? So I asked, "Are you both sure?" I imagined both of them inside of me. I knew this would be awkward sexually. There would be some bumping of genitals. Hold on, wait a minute. Man, come on, man. I knew this would be awkward sexually, and there would be some bumping of genitals. But what would happen next? I couldn't imagine in my wildest dreams. Al, how would you read that?
Man, I don't know. Look, this is crazy.
Al, blank, 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 blank. I couldn't believe it when I stood there in shock. But when Sean, blank, 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 I ran out of the room. This was too much. I couldn't. Sean come out to me, oh, come on, Kimmy. They didn't chase after me. They blank. We have to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, so they was, you know what I'm saying? They didn't really need her.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, she gone. They still blanking.
They said, oh, come on, Kimmy.
Kimmy gone.
They didn't chase after me.
Nope.
They blanked.
While she running, they blanking.
I couldn't get the image out of my mind. I couldn't be with Sean for a while. But that wouldn't be the last time I saw Sean in a compromising position. Not by a long shot. One day I found the vault where he kept all of his encounters with men. Yes, he kept a record of it. But that's for later. That's the chapter I want to end on. God, bruh. They blank, and blank.
And then blank again. While
she dipped out, and it was still blanking. It was all.
Hey, a whole blank part.
She said Sean was in a compromising position, so it sounded like he was catching and not pitching.
Ain't the first time he been in that position, or the last.
Damn, Al.
Hey man, golly, bro.
So
you go ahead.
Nah, you go first.
I personally. Oh wow.
I ain't never seen you at a loss for words, man.
So listen, man. I don't really have a whole lot to say regarding all the blanking and stuff.
What about the other blanking?
I ain't really got nothing to say about that either.
Okay.
But what I do, on a serious note, what I do want to speak to though, there was a moment where Kim said Diddy told her he thinks he's falling in love with her. For those of you out there, male and female, when someone tells you, I think I'm falling in love, they don't love you. Those are not the same things. Okay, let's just be clear about that. The other thing, I grew up in a household. My mom dated different men when I was a kid. My father wasn't in the house at the time, but I watched my mom go through some abusive situations. When somebody show you who they are, believe them.
Don't let them tell you twice.
They hit you once, they gonna hit you again. And again, there's some abusive women out there too.
No matter how sorry they are.
They hit you once. I understand you sorry. Go be sorry somewhere else. Remove yourself from that situation. Okay? Male or female. Somebody want to sit around being aggressive and fight and put their hands on you and abuse you or your children in any kind of way.
That's who they are.
I understand you're sorry. I forgive you. I'm not going to forget. Take it easy. I wish you all the best. Go find you another punching bag. All right? So, with everything else, with all the juicy things that were said in it, those are the two things that I want to put out there, because we also, although we looking at it from an entertainment standpoint and different things of that nature, what we also want to do is build up our community and to help develop people. And you know, it's a lot of people out here in situations like that, tragically, that are being abused and going through these different things. And again, this is not a male only thing. It's probably 85-90%.
Some men getting beat on too.
It's some men out there that's getting abused. Okay, there's some fellas out there that's getting punched on, right? But, and not to make light of the situation, but just understand, it's not just that it's men beating on women, it's women that's beating on men too. So if you find yourself in an abusive situation right like that, man, seek help. But first and foremost, if it happens once, it's going to happen again.
Yeah, remove yourself.
And again, to the point, when somebody love you, they love you. They ain't thinking about it. They might be, it's up in the air, like maybe tomorrow, somebody love you, they love you. And they gonna show you more than they gonna tell you. So those are the two things more than anything that I took. And you look at it over, again, a couple of decades of living through that situation, she found out the hard way that it's not really what you want. And if another thing I will say too, you do what you want to in your life and how you want to, you know what I'm saying, figure out who you are as far as sexually and encounters that you have or whatever. But if you're not comfortable doing something and somebody persistently wants you to do something,
don't do
it's
it.
Another red flag. All right, so that's what I got. You can talk about the blanks and the
other shit. I'm cool. It spoke for itself. But you know, I agree with you, bro, 100%. You know, when somebody tells you who they are, man, believe them. Don't let them tell you twice. But you know, we talk about a lot of juicy stuff on this channel, and we don't just bring stuff up just for clicks. Like, we bring up situations that's going, current events that people can relate to, and we're analyzing them and showing you the lessons, man. Because a lot of these things are losses, you know, but they're not losses, they're lessons. So we're pulling lessons out of them and showing you how to prevent these things from happening. Some things are just for entertainment, but most of the tragic things and things of that nature, we're really trying to analyze it and trying to, you know, find a better way to go about doing things so people understand that.
Right. And every situation, everything we go through in life, man, it's a lesson in everything. You know what I'm saying? The best situations and the worst, there's a lesson in everything that we go through. So even in these situations, like I said, we gonna talk about it, we gonna laugh, we gonna have fun, we gonna enjoy ourselves. We also gonna educate. We also gonna show, you know what I'm saying, that we are human. We gonna open up our hearts in this platform and say what we need to say. But we trying to build up the community more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the legacy is. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, we don't know the day, the time, the moment, but what we do know is all of us gonna leave here one day, and what we do in that dash that goes on that headstone, that tombstone, that's what matters at the end of the day. So part of the story for us is already written. The things that we're talking about, a lot of these stories are already out there and things are being written. Some of these young men and women that have lost their lives, we're gonna talk about things like that. But the biggest thing that we can get out of this, and I think I can speak for both of us when saying this, is the impact that we gonna have on somebody else in doing what we doing right here, man. So with that being said, bro, I think we touched on a lot of things today, man. Many blessings to everybody out there, man, that's going through something, not just these topics that we talked about, but you know what I'm saying, as we say quite often, man, it's not what you go through, it's what you get through. Mm-hmm. So for everybody out there that's going through something, many blessings to you, prayers that you make it through there, get to the other side of it. And I always tell, you know, some of my closest people to me and people that reach out to me for, you know, words of wisdom or whatever you may be, encouragement or whatever it is, man, just keep your head up, because it's hard to see your blessings coming with your head down. So blessings are on the way. Just make sure you got your eyes up so you can see them when they come.
Bars.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's all I got, man.
Hey, with that being said, man, that does it for another episode of The Fly Show, man. I'm your boy, Giovanni McFly.
I'm your boy, Showtime.
And this is The Fly Show.